Ron DeSantis finally losing the only group of individuals that wanted to vote for him. The Nazis for Ron DeSantis movement. Anyway, here's Ron DeSantis. Let's see what he had to say about the issue. This is awesome. I love this. This is my shit.
Ron, what do you think about the annihilation and the decapitation of all the Palestinians in Gaza right now? They basically bulldozed the whole. I worked in the Gaza Strip and worked in Palestinian refugee camps.
But they are not decapitating babies' heads. They are not intentionally doing that.
They're blowing up entire residential buildings. I watched Al Jazeera's.
What do you mean they're not decapitating babies' heads? This is why the argument is so stupid. Oh, I didn't realize, like, the baby's head was intact. This is like nuclear bomb versus coughing baby memes at this point. What the fuck are we doing? No, the baby's head is intact, except the entire body turns into a cloud of mist and dust. It's just pink mist. Like, okay, got it.
And they're not covering that on
Well, I would be very careful with Al Jazeera. I mean, that's funded by a lot of these Middle East governments.
Yeah,
I'd be very careful with Al Jazeera.
I love that. Don't have an argument? Racism. Al Jazeera, be careful now. Sounding quite like a terrorist. Bro, I mean, that's so stupid. I'm sorry. Report, Trump told allies and donors in recent days that Netanyahu should be impeached by the Israeli parliament and has also asked multiple longtime advisors he should now publicly call for Netanyahu to step down as prime minister immediately. I'm sorry, dude. There is no better man that is the perpetual room reader than motherfucking Donald Trump. Okay? He is the goated room reader. This is what I was trying to talk before we started with Ethan. I was having this conversation with him. The eminent room reader, bro. Are you joking? First of all, he's such a fake friend, Donald Trump, because Netanyahu and Trump were butt buddies, okay? So that's kind of fucked up, except, of course, he's going to throw him under the bus because he recognizes how shit Netanyahu's approvals are. If Trump ran for prime minister of Israel, he would literally, he would be undefeated permanently, by the way. Trump is an infinitely more popular politician in Israel than Netanyahu is. What? Young Zionists? What do you mean?
They want our people.
They're terrible actors, but with disgusting, manipulative performance while Israel carpet bombing and extermination of entire families in Gaza. I don't think that, like, this person is manipulative or lying, by the way. I think it's very real. Like, when the conversation that Ethan and I were having about paranoia is a very real one that I've talked about already. Okay? It is 100% a very real feeling that you have. It's one that I have. It's one that I have heard from my friends, my Jewish friends, especially. It's one that, I mean, I'm sure. What do you call it? I'm sure Jewish chatters in here, Jewish American chatters, Jewish Israeli chatters have probably experienced this, or at some point were like well invested in that. Yeah, that is another aspect. That is another aspect of the maintenance of an apartheid state, is that, yes, you understandably, due to all of that violence that the state is dishing out on your behalf, whether you have any say or not, doesn't matter. Like, it's still happening. It's still a constant. That is going to have a negative impact on your well-being, on your psyche. It's going to impact you. Just like why, this is exactly the same reason as to why America is so fucking psychotic and violent. Why wouldn't we be? Look at all the violence that we're responsible for globally. You really think that shit doesn't actually play a role in and manipulate us in a certain way, to have us see the world in a different light. I do believe that there are cultural and psychological, fucking physiological ramifications for the colonial occupation that we engage in. Okay? 100%. It's the same argument as white people saying they're afraid of black people in America. Exactly. I am not saying that this is a valid concern or consideration. I'm simply stating that this comes as a secondary consequence of trying to routinely maintain and self-justify why the security apparatus must be unflinching and why our enemies must be defeated by any means necessary. If you keep fucking pumping that rhetoric over and over again, why won't people be genuinely alarmed all the time? Anyway, let's get back to Ron.
I think they're faking pictures of families carrying their babies in, totally dead. You know, it's a two-way street. Israel has been killing Palestinians for the whole time Gaza has existed, and they've been contained.
Hamas, Israel put in a warning: we're going to go in this area. Civilians leave. Hamas tells them not to leave. Hamas wants them to be human shields. That's their tactic, technique, and procedure. How many other armed forces give warnings to get out before they go? I think Israel's probably the only one in the world that does that.
I don't condone the killing of any innocent civilians.
It's pretty funny to see little Rhonda try to do this when, like, his campaign literally had straight groypers, dude. What happened to those groiped up shouties? How did they feel? I thought they fucking hated, I mean, I know his ass had anti-Semites in his fucking campaign. They were cutting propaganda. We got to check in with the Nazis for Ron DeSantis on this. I wonder how they feel now. Ron DeSantis finally losing the only group of individuals that wanted to vote for him. The Nazis for Ron DeSantis movement. Damn, Ron. You really fucked up, dog. Many anti-Semites love Israel, put them their type attitude. Yeah. For the record, this is not a conflation with or a serious or a recognition that, like, Nazis have any serious fucking issues with Israel at all. They're giant pieces of shit. It's just funny to see that someone who has, like, literal Nazis in his fucking campaign tried to shittily offer vociferous support to Israel.
And I don't condone what Hamas did in the kibbutzes, but Israel is doing the exact same thing with Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a radical right-wing crazy person. And I see hundreds of Palestinian families that are dead, and they have nowhere to go because they can't leave the Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, he said Benjamin Netanyahu is radical.
Well, that's the thing. You bring up a good point, though. You bring up a really good point. Why aren't these Arab countries willing to absorb some of the Palestinian Arabs? They will not do it. Egypt will not do it. Saudi will not.
Yeah, I wonder why Egypt won't have Palestinians. Let's consider for a moment the delicate nature of the current Egyptian government and the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas in general. I wonder, like, what could have happened in Egypt that where there was a different government maybe that wouldn't have had an issue with bringing in Palestinians. Also, Egypt can't even send in fucking supplies to Gaza without Israel being like, we will blow them up. The fuck do you mean? Why? First of all, how are you, and he's looking for the camera right now, so stupid. How are you a politician? God, once again, showing his ass, bro. Governors should maybe spend less time going to Japan and more time going to Israel. Okay? How are you a fucking Florida governor trying to become the president, and you don't even understand like basic foreign relations amongst foreign nations. You know what I mean? It's like just exercise a little bit of critical thinking, and you will come quickly to the conclusion that, it's not necessarily Egypt controlling that border. It's still Israel controlling that border by way of Egypt. Oh, he did go to Israel? Bro, this is why Trump is the better statesman. Trump is, at this point, an elderly statesman. The difference between Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump in analyzing the current powder keg of Israeli governance is clear. It could not be more clear. I'm not one to be like, oh, this guy doesn't have experience. This guy does. I've never been one of those guys. I don't think so. I think that like moral clarity is more important. But goddamn, dude, it sure shows Donald Trump having a better assessment of the situation by being like, Netanyahu fucking sucks. He should resign. Versus little Rhonda being like, why don't they go to Egypt? Good one, buddy. Not that it matters because, you know, it's laughable to think that like any American politician even gives a singular shred of a fuck about what happens to Palestinians when they're literally tripping over one another to be the first to call for more ethnic cleansing than the last. So.
Will not do it. None of them will do it.
Displaced from their homes in 1948. I was there. I saw where
none of them will do it. None of the Arab countries will be able to accept refugees.
You had my vote, but you don't now.